Happy Monday to everybody. Hope your day is going well. Good morning, Dr. D. Telling you what, Dr. D, my fingers still aren't feeling too good. And actually, I'm feeling a little bit of it right down in here, too, in the little pad of my hand. But it's basically this little triangle is where I'm feeling the stiffness and whatnot. At first, it started out with just from the knuckle back, but now it's kind of not the entire finger, but close to it. But also, this little padded area is a little bit, I wouldn't say sore, it's just sensitive if I touch it the wrong way. But hopefully, I get to use my left hand to roll the dice. Now, I do have to write with my right hand, and sometimes if I write too much, that'll bother my fingers as well. So hopefully, it won't be that much of a problem. The more you use it, oh, is it better or worse? I don't know. I mean, the way it started out, I have these yard clippers. It's like these little snipper things, and I was, doing this motion with it a lot. But my left hand is perfectly fine, and my right hand from here over is perfectly fine. It's just these two fingers. As long as I don't, if I write a long time, yeah, it starts to bother me. The worst time is when I first wake up. It gets a little stiff when I first wake up. But if I write a whole lot, if I have to write out a whole lot of things, like if I sometimes what I'll do is for the upcoming week during the weekend I'll pre-do the score sheets, and if I do about the fifth or sixth score sheet, it starts getting a little uncomfortable. I wouldn't call it sore. I just notice it. I mean, it's not anything, to use the old doctor thing, pain level on a 10 being the worst, one being nothing. It's probably a 2. So it's not dramatically there. It's just noticeable. That's all. Anyway, I digress. I just happened to see you in the chat, so I thought I'd mention that. Um, let's move this out of the way. We are looking at Milwaukee and Boston, third game of the series. Boston won the first game, and Milwaukee won the second game. So this is the rubber match to see who wins the series. Of course, Milwaukee is the overall winner in the division. They have a pretty decent lead over Toronto, the Yankees, and Detroit, and Boston bringing up the rear pretty much. We are now on Wednesday, June 24th, the first game from Wednesday, June 24th, 1987, game 483 in the replay. Fenway Park, of course, friendly to hitters, 19 for left, 15 for right on the singles. Home runs, lefty 7, righty 10. And we got two left-handers on the mound, Teddy Higuera against Bruce Hurst. Higuera comes in 6-4. Hurst comes in 4-8. Hurst is a -2 on his hold, and Higuera is a 0. Neither one of them have very high pitch or high wild pitch or balk ratings, although Sullivan does have a high pass ball rating. All right, so let's look at the previous game, and we'll notice that Bolton and Crawford Bolton, especially Crawford, not so much, but Bolton will be unavailable this game because he went 3 innings in the previous game. Crawford is available in a pinch. He went 2 innings yesterday. He will be the last guy in from the bullpen for the Red Sox. So even with that, they still have Wes Gardner, Joe Sambito, Calvin Schiraldi. Those 3 guys are going to be the first 3 out of the bullpen. And Crawford if they need a 4th pitcher. But the one guy who's not going to pitch is Bolton because he went 3 innings yesterday. So that is that. Just wanted to mention that so you can know that we're, I want to be realistic. I don't want to use a guy 3 innings in one game and the next game use him again. So I want to make sure that we're trying to be. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of weird, Doctor. I mean, it's just the fact. If it was my whole hand, I would probably understand it. But the fact that it's just 2 fingers and this little short padded area that's causing discomfort, and the rest of my hand is fine. I don't know. Right now, all I'm doing now is basically I'm cheap, so I bought like the Walmart Great Value version of Icy Hot, and I put it on here, and every time I apply the Icy Hot to it or whatever that cream is, it feels much better. So. Until it wears off, I guess. But anyway, good morning, Mr. Dan. Good to see you. Dan, I'm not sure if you are a fan of golf or not. Hello, John. Good to see you. A lot of times I play by feel. I don't necessarily have a rule per se, but basically, if the guy has my first rule of thumb is if the base runner has an asterisk, which means he can get the lead automatically if not held, I hold him. Those are usually the only guys I hold, and I usually only hold on first base. I hardly ever hold on second base. But usually, if a guy has the asterisk, I hold him on. That's my rule of thumb. Now, if the score gets out of hand, or if I have a certain feeling about a certain guy, I may alter that. But that's my modus operandi, if you want to call it that. And that's the way I generally. I mean, there are exceptions to everything, obviously, but that's generally how I play it. But anyway, Dan, what I was saying, I'm not sure if you're a golf fan or not, but I did that much longer video than I planned to do, or stream that I planned to do with that History Maker Golf, and that was something else. So I didn't know if you were a golf fan or not, or should I say golf game fan? You might be a golf fan in general for real sport. I didn't know if you were a golf game fan or not, or just Strat-O-Matic and baseball type stuff, inside pitch stuff like that, fall classic. All right, let's get the game up on the Strat-O-Matic computer and get the numbers on Bruce Hurst. If we look at Bruce Hurst in the real 1980 season, I used to live near Oakmont. Cool. So Bruce Hurst on the 1987 season was 15-13 with a 4.41 ERA. That was his real world season in 1987. On the replay, he is doing worse. He is 4-8, but his ERA is up to 5.86. 101 innings pitched, 116 hits, 47 walks, and 89 strikeouts. Mike Felder, the switch hitter, will lead off for some reason. Paul Molitor is not playing. He's on the bench, but why, particularly against a lefty, he's not out there, I don't know. They got Gantner playing third base instead. Red Sox lineup is pretty status quo. All right, so Mike Felder hitting .324 on the replay. No homers, 4 driven in. He at .266 real world. 266 real world. And, of course, before the first pitch, we have the ceremonial first sip. And Dr. D with I don't trust my 2 fingers at the end, so I'm holding the cup like this now instead of by the handle completely to make sure I don't drop anything. I don't want to spill anything on the cards or the score sheet. And that is some good coffee. And, of course, for all you Star Wars fans out there, this is the May the 4th be with you day. I even did one thing where I used to do it a couple of years in a row, and I just stopped doing it. But I used to do a Bob Forsch, Ken Forsch showdown on the May the 4th be with you, but just kind of got away from that. Anyway, I digress. And we get this game going. Bruce Hurst against the switch-hitting Felder. Underway from Fenway, 3-5. And that's going to be a ground ball to short. Spike Owen makes the play. 1 away. Juan Castillo, second baseman, will bat second. He's hitting .206 on the replay. No homers, 14 driven in. He at .224 real world. This is I got the dice backwards. Something didn't look right. I grabbed 2 white dice and 1 red. I guess we'll go with it, just to be different. I usually do it the other way around. I guess I was grabbing the wrong dice. I just happened to notice that. Let's see, 2-9 switch hitter batting against the lefty is a ground ball to third, 2 down. Or what do you guys think? Do you think I should stick with what I got here, or go swap out and get 2 red dice and 1 white die to be more, more normal? Or should I go with the abstract? Could be an interesting. Stick with it. Okay, I'll stick with the abstract. Just make sure that I got to make sure the red die is acting like the white die, and the 2 white die are acting like the 2 red die. So just when I was grabbing dice, I just happened to grab those for whatever reason. Don't know why. Robin Yount, center fielder, bats third. He's hitting .313 on the replay. 15 homers, 59 driven in. He at .312 real world. And we get a 3-9, and that is a ground ball to short. So how about that? 3 ground ball outs. Bruce Hurst seems to like this combination. At least early on he does. Brewers go down 1-2-3. go to the bottom of the first. Milwaukee nothing. Boston coming to bat, and Teddy Higuera, the ace of the Milwaukee staff, will take the mound. We'll get Higuera's numbers on the actual season. Teddy Higuera, 1987, if I can get it focused right. 1987. Come on now, give it to me. 18-10 with a 3.85 ERA for Teddy Higuera. You could see it'd be a bear to try to stream a game of this in basic with this blue background. It'd be horrible to try to show up. All right, so Higuera, that's what he did in the real season. In the replay, he is 6-4 with a 3.87 ERA, so pretty much right on time, 385 to 387. Can't get much more closer than that. 109 innings pitched, 106 hits, 40 walks, 110 strikeouts. So we're starting to get some of these top pitchers that are now past the 100-inning mark, which is kind of interesting. You start getting some more what I would call legitimate stats, things that when you get the sample size high enough, it starts to, be more, I wouldn't say authentic, but it just means more, I think. All right, here's Ellis Burks, center fielder, hitting 304, 9 homers, 23 driven in. He had 272 real world. And that's a 1-5, and that's a base on balls. So Teddy Higuera is protesting, saying, go back to the old dice. He doesn't like it so far. All right, so Burks with the walk now. To get the lead, he needs a 5 or a 6. Higuera's a 0 on the effect, so he needs a 5 or 6. Doesn't get the lead, he'll hold. Here's Marty Barrett. Barrett hitting 314, no homers, 19 driven in. And he's hitting 293 on the regular season. And I'm going to do something that I don't normally do, maybe once in a blue moon, but people say I never do it or hardly ever do it. So I'm going to buck the trend, and I'm going to use what Earl Weaver called the worst strategy in baseball. But it works in Strat-O-Matic because they kind of encourage you to do it by the way they do their rules. So with the runner being held, Marty Barrett's hit and run rating improves to an A. So we're going to do a hit and run. Hit and run on the A. And we get a 1-7. So we're mainly just looking at the 2 D6s. The 1 just means we're going off this chart versus off the pitcher. So 7 with an A is a BMP. So BMP, let me find out what that is. BMP. Where is the little chart? Here we go. BMP. Where are you? Shouldn't BMP down here? Oh, here it goes. Batter misses pitch. Pick card for steal result. Okay, so he misses the pitch on the he swings and misses on the hit and run. So now that means Ellis Burks has to steal. He did not get the good jump. So I'm assuming he's got to use his 13. He's got to use the 13, and then the -4 makes it a 9. So it's a 1-9 stolen base chance for Ellis Burks. And he makes it. Wow. Hopefully I did that right. I don't think there's any other deductions to make on that botched hit and run. The fact that he was being held on originally, to me, would means he didn't get the lead, so he's looking at his secondary rating. You take away the 4 as normal, and 0 from Higuera makes it a 1-9, and we got a 7. So as far as I know, and Dan or somebody else can correct me if that's not the way you play this hit and run, because I'm not used to hit and running. But according to this, Burke steals it anyway. And Marty Barrett is still at the plate with a no ball, 1 strike count. 1 ball and no strike count. With now Burks at second base, not being held. We get a 4-7, and that is a ground ball second base X, so that will get the runner to third at a bare minimum. We know Burks is going to third. Castillo's a 3E21 at second base. 3 and a 5, that's iffy. He was not holding the runner on, so there's no penalty for that. But at 3 and a 5 might get through anyway. No, it's not. G3 pound, but the pound only takes effect if we were holding Burks on. We're not holding Burks on. That's why I don't do that with runner at second, because that would free up too much infield space. So it's a G3. And that's a 9, and he shouldn't have any problem with 9, you wouldn't think. E21. Nope, there's no 9 there. So it's just going to be a 4-3 ground out, and that will move Burks to third base with 1 out. So Burks makes it to third on the ground out by Barrett. So it's a productive out for Barrett. He does move the runner over. That's baseball 101. Get a guy on at second with nobody out. You make sure if you make an out, you move him to third base. And now here's Wade Boggs. Tempted to play the infield in here with 1 out. I think I will. They're going to try to cut the run off. Boggs hitting .351 on the replay. 12 homers, 34 driven in. He at .363 real world. But the infield is in. Get a 6-2, and that is against a lefty is a ballpark blast. 1-7, but that's a 16. But by default, it will be a sacrifice fly. Failed ballpark home runs turn into fly ball Bs, which in this case is a sacrifice fly, and that's a manufactured run by the Red Sox. A walk, a stolen base, ground ball to the right side, and a sacrifice fly to right. I think that's kind of how they wrote it up in Baseball 101. But the downside is you only get 1 run. You don't get 2 or 3 possibly. But, you never, there's still at bat. There's just 2 outs, nobody on. Here's Jim Rice, 264 average on the replay, 5 homers, 32 driven in. He at 277 real world. A lot of people seem to think that Strat-O-Matic caters to small ball, so I don't know. See, 6-8 is a strikeout, and that's going to end the inning. But the Red Sox strike first, take a 1-0 lead. But with Bruce Hurst on the mound and his bad year he's having, that probably is not going to last, particularly not at Fenway Park. But it's better to be up 1 than be down 1. Here is Cecil Cooper, designated hitter. And they're riding Cecil Cooper until he retires, I think. You would think they would have brought in let Milder, a right-hander, DH or something against Hurst instead of a lefty Cooper. But Cooper did face left-handers 32% of the time. So they weren't afraid to use him in that capacity. Cooper hitting .218 on the replay, 8 homers, 27 driven, at .248 real world. That is a 2-5, and he's going to ground it to Boggs. So Bruce Hurst has the ground ball working, 4 ground ball outs to start this ball game. And here's Rob Deere. He's not likely to hit a ground ball. He's usually swing or miss stuff, either a home run or a strikeout kind of deal. Deere on the replay hitting .236, 8 homers, 34 driven in. He hit .238 real world. 5-12, that's a double on a 1. Anything else would be a single. So the first hit of the game for either team belongs to Rob Deere. Deere needs a 7 to get the lead. Doesn't get it, but that's a 1. He could be picked off. Chance for a pickoff. His get-back number is 11. 1-11, he is picked off. I'm sorry, 1-11, he's safe. 12 or higher, he's picked off. He is back safely, but can no longer establish a lead. So he has to hold there. And here comes the first baseman, Jim Peshorek. Peshorek on the replay hitting .235, a homer, 10 driven in. He at .228 real world. 5-9, and that is a strikeout for Bruce Hurst, his first. 2 down. Deere still at first, but can't go anywhere for Bill Schroeder, the catcher. Schroeder hitting .287 on the replay, 4 homers, 21 driven in. He at .332 real world. 5-6, and that is a strikeout to end the inning. And after that Friday doubleheader, I am definitely glad we're playing just 1 game today. Ooh, that doubleheader was something, particularly when the second game goes extra innings. That's just Murphy's Law that says that. If you play a doubleheader, the second game has to go. That's Strat-O-Matic Murphy's Law. If you play a doubleheader, the second game has to go extra innings. All right, here's Don Baylor. Baylor, .238 average, 6 homers, 35 driven in. He hit .245 real world. And speaking of Friday's doubleheader, I guess it's a good time as any to explain the error that was made at the end of that game that I can't do anything about right now. We're just going to call it We have to call it umpire error because it's already been put in the Strat computer, so I can't go back and fix it. But for future reference, to make sure I don't make the same mistake again, hopefully I will not. But it's a play that doesn't come up very often at all. But it came up on the game on Friday. And that is, there was a sacrifice fly that ended the game, a walk-off sacrifice fly, but I was playing the outfield in. And when you play the outfield in, the B question mark, you subtract 7 from the base runner's speed instead of adding 2 to it. So Canseco was a 14. The outfielder's arm was a +2, made him a 16, but subtracting 7 would have made it a 9. Now, on a 1 to 9 chance, I probably would have held him at third base and not even tried it. I rolled the D20 because thinking it was a 1 to 18, and we rolled a 14, and of course it won the game for the Oakland A's. Don't know what would have happened otherwise. Had I played it this way, I would have most likely held the runner at third. Next guy might have gotten a base hit. You never know. But that's just the mistake that was made. I forgot about that -7. So next time that comes up, I will definitely be more aware of it. But if you go back and watch that game later and wonder why that I allowed the run to score, that was a mistake. It's just something I never thought of because I don't ever do it. I don't think I ever brought the outfield in before. It's just something I never thought of. But that's what happened. But had I caught it in game, I could have fixed it. But that result's already in the book, so there's nothing I can do about it except try not to make that mistake again, which hopefully I will not. All right. I think the Royals are still going to file a protest. So what I'll probably do is at the end of the year, I'll keep the protest on file. And at the end of the season, if Kansas City is if they are within a game or within 2 games of Oakland, I may do a replay on that, just like they did the Merkel-Boner game or something. Or I just leave it alone, say umpire error, and sorry about that, Kansas City. I don't know. Anyway, just wanted to clarify that. All right, here's Don Baylor, 238 average, 6 homers, 35 driven in, at 245 real world. 6-7, and that is a strikeout. Second strikeout for Higuera. But I'm usually pretty proficient on all these Strat-O-Matic super advanced things, but when things come up that only happen maybe once every couple hundred games, then it's easy to forget the rules. Dr. D, I don't know, 45% chance. I'd have to remember. Actually, the 9th place hitter, I think Alfredo Griffin was up next, and he had been hot that game. So I probably would have held him there and had Alfredo Griffin try to bring him home. I don't know. But if you think about it, 45% chance on the sac fly is probably better than the 45% chance of Alfredo Griffin getting a hit. So thinking about it now, I probably would have sent him, and that would have been the third out, and that would have gone to a 12th inning. Who knows what would have happened at that point. But can't go back and change the past, as they say. All right, here is Dwight Evans. Evans 3-5 against Higuera, and that's a solid single. Evans hitting 356 on the replay, make it a little bit more now, probably up to 357 with this single. Only hit 305 real world, so he's been tearing it up offensively. Not going to do anything on the base paths. It will not be held. I don't hold anybody that doesn't have an asterisk unless unless it's stated otherwise. It's default that I don't hold them if they don't have the asterisk. Here's Benzinger in 11 at bats. He's hitting 545. No homers or run driven in. He hit 278 real world, but of course 11 at bats, not nearly enough of a sample size to make any kind of a judgment. 5-4, and that's an in-home run chance. 1-7. That's a 9. He'll settle with the double. The double's assumed to go to center field. Evans not being held makes him a 13. The double to center, Yount's a +2, makes him a 15. He could score in a 1-15, or he could have second and third with 1 out. Man, do you want to score him? Is the question. It would be a 1-15. And then Milwaukee has to decide, do they throw through or do they cut the throw and keep Benzinger at second? You know what? Boston's going to send him, and Milwaukee's going to let him score. With only one out, they don't want Benzinger getting to third, and he would take third on the overthrow if they did that. So it'll be an RBI double for Benzinger, and that's the little bit of a quandary you have when you play both sides. You got to think through things from both sides of the aisle and figure out how you want to do it. But I think with one out, if there were two outs, they would probably throw through, because getting to third with two outs wouldn't be a bigger deal, but getting to third with one out is a huge deal. So they hold him at second by not throwing through and conceding the run. It's 2-0 Boston. And here's Spike Owen. Owen hitting 244 on the replay. A homer at 10 driven in. He had 259 real world. Switch hitter will bat right-handed against Higuera. 4-9, and that's a walk. Only good side there for Higuera and the Brewers is it does set up a double play, and Mark Sullivan is a double play candidate. Sullivan hitting 170 on the replay, 2 homers, 12 driven in. He at 169 real world. So he's right on where he should be. 5-4, and that's an in-home run chance there. That's an 8, though. It'll be a double for Sullivan. Double for Sullivan. That will score Benzinger. Owen not being held as a trail runner makes him a 16. Plus 2 is an 18. But Sullivan's only a 9, so he can't advance, so they will throw through. He will try to score on the 18, but they will throw through without any kind of consequence. 1-18, he's in there. And he is. It's a 2-run double off the bat of number 9 hitter Sullivan. They found that 4-5 mark, or 5-4 mark twice against Higuera this inning. Both times have been doubles. Higuera needs to avoid that result, obviously. It is now 4-0 Boston, as they are taking it to Teddy Higuera, and the Yankees and Blue Jays are loving it. So back to the top of the order for Ellis Burks. Sullivan, very slow runner at second. 4-5. That's a fly ball to center. 2 down. And that'll send us to Marty Barrett. Clutch situation for Barrett. And he loses a hit on 2-8, 3-5, and 3-8. 3-10, however, is a single 1-11 base hit. It's a 1 star, so Sullivan will stop at second. But now runners at the corners for Wade Boggs. Marty Barrett needs a 4 to get the lead. And he doesn't get it. He'll hold. Here's Wade Boggs. Sacrifice fly, first time for Wade Boggs. 3-5 against the lefty. He will single, 2 stars. It's an RBI single for Wade Boggs. It is now 5-0 Red Sox, as they're putting a hurting on Mr. Higuera. A 4-score inning so far, making Abraham Lincoln proud. And that'll bring up Jim Rice, the 9th man to bat in the inning. Brewer bullpen starting to stir. Whoa, we got hop and dice here. Let's re-roll that. Hello, Kenyon. Hello, forever. Oh, another hop. Why do I have hop and dice here? Stay in the tray for me. All right, 3-5 for Rice is a home run, 1-11, and that's gone. Jim Rice, a 2-run home run. Actually, a 3-run home run for Jim Rice. It's 8-0 Red Sox. And Higuera is going to need some early relief as the Red Sox will bat around. Didn't see this one coming. Didn't have this one in my pool. Jim Rice, look at it again. A 3-5. Must be this. The flip of the colored dice must have totally freaked out Teddy Higuera, and he couldn't handle it. 3-5 is a 1-11. That's a 10. Maybe Milwaukee will play under protest because I'm using the wrong colored dice. For Jim Rice, that's his 6th home run of the replay. He had 13 of them real world. And RBI is 33, 34, and 35. But now it is just about time to get. They're going to try to get Higuera to get the 3rd out of the inning. But Higuera has reached fatigue technically because of the poor pitching. All right, so Rice does it. And now Baylor, who started the inning by striking out, gets a chance to make 2 outs in the same inning. That's a 5-7 Almost hit that dot, but he didn't. 5-7 is a ground ball to short. So we're looking at Swain, 3 E25. 3 and 18 is good. E25 and a 9 at shortstop. E25, there is no 9 there, so Swain makes the play. And Baylor gets the distinction of making 2 outs in the same inning. But a 7 spot for the Red Sox, and they take an 8-0 lead into the 3rd inning. I tell you what, with Boston's pitching the way it is, this game may not be over. So, but it is going to be over for Higuera. He's going to go 2 innings, and he gets shelled. We'll go to the box score and make sure I don't mess up what his totals are. And we'll figure out who's. I think Chris Bosio is going to get the call for long relief. So let's go here. Higuera, 2 innings pitched, 6 hits, 8 runs. They were all earned. That's going to kill his ERA. 2 walks and 2 strikeouts. So, wow. All you can say is wow on that one. And, of course, it's messing up my score sheet. Now I've got to move every inning over. All right, so talk about the happiest guy in the place. It's Bruce Hurst. He's got an 8-0 lead to work with. Now, if you can't win the game when the team gives you an 8-0 lead, then maybe you need to go home. Hello, World's Worst. Forever, yes. I actually did play it offline. I was going to do what RJL suggested was play offline until the leaders got to the back 9. But what happened was, and I'll explain it in the video when I do it. I haven't recorded it yet. It's going to be a recording, not a live stream. I'll record it and show what happened. Basically, what happened was every single golfer fell out of contention. So I basically played the last 6 holes doing the automatic score for the other 11 golfers, and the only guy I played the holes through with was the leader, and he ended up winning by 6 strokes. So, so that's the way it is. Let's see here. I'm not sure what rule we're talking about taking extra base. I'm behind on what you guys are talking about, so I'll just leave it alone and move forward. Jim Gantner hitting 294 on the replay, 3 homers, 22 driven in. He hit 272 real world. But what I'm going to do with that golf is I'm going to do the video explaining what happened, and then I'm also going to show how you do the scores for the players who were not in the top 12, so I can get a score for everybody. That way I can keep the keep the running total for points and all that stuff. So yeah, Dr. D, that is technically it's a rule that you move up all the time, but my homebrew is that the trail runner, the batter, whoever the batter is, or even the trail runner in some cases, they have to have a run rating of 13 or higher, or I don't allow it. And that's a home brew for me. It's not in the rule book. It's a home brew that I use, is they have to be 13 speed or higher, which is why I threw through when Benziger was hit the double to keep him from going to third. But Sullivan I could throw through because I knew he couldn't take third because his speed was only a 9. That's a home brew I use. It's not in the rule book. It's just what I used to try to make common sense and keep slow runners from taking extra bases. Fly ball C, as far as I know, there is no move up on that. That's just a straight old shallow fly. And I guess you could homebrew something and take -7 away from the runner like they do on the outfield in thing. I don't know. I've never thought about it. I just default to fly ball C means no advancement. All right, here's Gantner. 3-5 against the lefty, and that is a ground ball to first. Dwight Evans takes the bag himself. Number 9 hitter Dale Swain, hitting .333, 16 homers, 48 driven in on the replay. Hit .252 real world. 1-6, and that is a strikeout. 3rd strikeout for Hurst. Hurst having a great game so far. Oops, hit the wrong button, gave him a single. Let me back that out. Good thing Strat-O-Matic computer has the undo button, or I would be lost, because I use that undo button quite a bit. All right, so Swain is a strikeout victim. Brings up Mike Felder. 2-9, and that is a single. And forever, I was going to do that last night, but when I got home last night, I was just too tired to do it, so I figured I'd do it this afternoon and put it out. So, all right, so Felder, normally a guy who's in advance is rated as AA and has this thing here, I normally try to steal, but down 8-0. Do you really try to steal 8? I mean, to me, that's just, you just don't do that. So we're going to not try any kind of steals. Here's Castillo. 5-6. Switch everybody right is a strikeout. 4th strikeout for Bruce Hurst. And he is pitched himself quite a first 3 innings here, holding the powerful Brewer line up to 2 singles, and that's it. Now the Brewers need to go to the bullpen, and I believe it's going to be Chris Bosio. He is a designated long reliever. Aldrich can also be a long reliever, but he did pitch 2/3 of an inning last time out. So I think they're going to go with Bosio to try to give him as many innings as possible. And in the American League with the DH, you don't have to worry about pinch hitting for him, so he literally can pitch as long as you want him to pitch. It's no question. All right, so here is Dwight Evans. Well, first of all, let's bring Bosio into the game. That would help. Don't want to have all these next results still be on. Actually, no, I can't use Bosio. I'll take that back. Let me back that up. I just saw on the Strat computer, there is a pound sign next to his name, so I think that means he's going to be starting very shortly. So can't use him in the bullpen. I think we're going to have to go to Aldrich here. Looks like Aldrich is the guy. So it will be Aldrich instead. So Aldrich will be the pitcher. So Jay Aldrich, if we look at his numbers, and Higuera just got swamped. Aldrich, 3-1 with a 4.94 ERA real world. On the replay, he's 0-0 with 1 save and a 1.86 ERA. 10 innings pitched, 7 hits, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts. So he's pitched well compared to real world. Let's see if he keeps that up here against Mr. Evans. That's a 2-5, and that is a ballpark blast. 13, but it's too much. He needs a 10 just to fly to left. So Aldrich catches a break on the D20. 1 away, and that's going to bring up Todd Benzinger. That's a 5-6 switch hitter. Fly ball to center. Yount hauls it in. 2 down. And Spike Owen. 3-11. Wait a minute, did I look at the lefty or the righty there? On that last result. Fly to center. Hold on here. Oh, no, it was on the pitcher card. Never mind. Okay. All right, Spike Owen, 3-11 against the righty. Ballpark single, 16. He is a lefty, so that's going to fit. Base hit, Spike Owen. Sometimes you get confused if you start with a lefty and you bring in a righty reliever. You're so used to looking off the blue section, and all of a sudden you got to go to the red section. It can be a little confusing. So Benzinger will fly to center, but Spike Owen will get the 2-out single. And of course, with the score 8-0, I'm not going to attempt any leads or anything like that. So here's Sullivan. He had a big double first time up. 5-6, and that's a single, 1-9. And that's a 1, so it's a base hit for Sullivan. He's 2 for 2. It is only 1 star. So Owen will go to second, 2 down. But 2 quick outs. It's still technically a clutch situation for Ellis Burks by rule. Although I may homebrew something with that as well. I don't know. 4-11. Doesn't matter. It's off the pitcher card anyway. Fly ball right field X. We're looking at Deer. 3E10. 3 and a, what is that, 17? 3 and a 17. Could tell if it was a 3 or a 17. It was kind of in between. That is a total of 9, and he is an E10. There is no 9 there. Of course, 3 and a 17. He will get to that, and that will end the inning. So we played 3 here at Fenway. Boston in control, 8-0. And Bruce Hurst back out will face Yount, Cooper, and Deere. 2-3 for Yount, and that's a ground ball to third. Wade Boggs takes care of it. For Cecil Cooper. 3-4 for Cooper. He's going to ground it right back to Hurst. And Hurst has that ground ball working. Look at that. Except for the 2 singles, all the outs are either strikeouts or ground outs. We have not had a fly out to the outfield yet. It tells you Bruce Hurst has that ground ball working. Here's Rob Deere. 2-11, and that's well, it doesn't matter about a ground ball working here. 2-11 is a straight out home run. Clean as can be right there. 2-11 and 2-12 against lefties are both home runs for Rob Deere. Brewers are on the board, cutting the lead to 8-1. Rob Deere, home run number 9 on the replay. He had 28 of them real world. He hits his 9th here. So he's a little bit behind on his pace for that. RBI number 35 to go with that. So the Brewers are on the board, finally. And here's Jim Pashorek. 2-8 for Pashorek. He will ground to Spike Owen, and that will take care of it. But the home run from Rob Deere gets the Brewers off to Schneid. With bottom of the 4th, 8-1. And back out is Aldridge. Aldridge has fatigue of 3, so he's going to go as long as he can go. As long as he can go. Yeah, forever. To try to stream a full round is going to be almost impossible. I'd almost have to do it. I think what I'm going to do in the future is on the tournaments, I'm going to do rounds 1, 2, and 3 in one video or one stream. And in the final round stream, I'm going to pick it up where the leader starts the back 9. And that way I would have pre-played all the front 9 and get to the meat of the section. I think that's the best way to stream that, in my opinion. All right, here is Marty Barrett. Otherwise, you're going to have like a 4-hour stream. And I got tired of it. It was late at night. It was almost 11 o'clock at night. I said, I got to stop. When the leaders got to the back 9, that's when I stopped. All right, here's Marty Barrett. 3-8, and that's a single for Marty Barrett. He is 2 for 3 rather. Marty Barrett, and for the Red Sox, that's hit number 9. Again, score 8-1. We're not going to do any steals. Good morning, Brown. Good to see you. Here's Boggs, 5-7, and as a ground ball second base X, we're looking at Castillo, 3E21. Could be a double play here. 3-11, though, is probably a fielder's choice, if I had to guess. 3-11 is a G2. That's a 14. E21 and a 14. There's a 13 there, but no 14, so it will be a 4-6 fielder's choice. And Boggs is your new runner. Would like to have had a closer game. Of course, there's still time. There's still time for the Brewers to catch up, but they got their work cut out for him. Here's Rice. He had that big 3-run homer to cap off a 7-run second inning. Kind of took the starch out of the Brewers. That's a 1, so we'll check Aldridge's wild pitch rating off the computer because they aren't on the card. Let's see, 3 wild pitch and 7 balks. So a 3 wild pitch rating. No wild pitch. Here's Rice. 4-5, and that's a solid double to center field off of Aldridge. Boggs, they'll play station to station. 1 out, no sense risking. 2 outs, I might have sent him, but 1 out, we're going to hold him. And here comes Don Baylor. Infield for the Brewers is going to come in. Runners at second and third, 1 out. They got to choke the runoff. It's a 6-9. Fly ball center field B. It doesn't matter. It's a sacrifice fly from Don Baylor to center field. Yount has no play on Boggs. Boggs will score to make it 9-1. Hold on, I got a call I got to take. All right, sorry about that. That was a phone call I actually needed to take, so it didn't take long to get that out of the way. Baylor's sacrifice fly, of course, now makes it 9-1. Two away. Runner still at second in Rice, and here's Dwight Epp. Still technically a clutch situation. 4-9, and that's a single, but it's only one star, so Rice will stop at third. But the Red Sox brought their hitting shoes today. That is their 11th hit. And now we have a clutch situation for Todd Benzinger. Runs at the corners and 2 outs. That's a 2-7 for Benzinger, and that's a 1-8 single. That's a 16, so he lines it to Castillo to end the inning. But the sacrifice fly off the bat of Don Baylor gives the Red Sox a 9-1 lead. As we head to the top of the 5th, let me get my stuff here the way I had it. Get a phone call comes in, it kind of ruins everything. All right. And I agree, yes, for the golf, I definitely agree that you usually start on the TV, unless it's a major. Unless it's a major, if it's just a regular weekly tournament, they almost always start on the back side with the leaders. You don't need to see the front side of the holes at all. Now, maybe on the Masters or U.S. Open or British Open, that's different. But on the regular, I would say on the regular ones, that's the way they do it. It wasn't from Giovanni's. Actually, it's a guy who leads my church men's group. We usually meet every other Monday, and he was just making sure tonight was the night we're supposed to meet, and it is. So I had to remind him of that. He's older than I am, so sometimes his memory doesn't go well either. So, but I had to remind him we were scheduled to meet tonight. So nothing from Giovanni's on that. And speaking of the golf, I actually did take a picture. Don't know how well it's going to show up on here, but I did take a picture of where I left off. And you see this guy here has a 3-shot lead on here, 4-shot lead here, and a 6-shot lead of these guys. Well, what happened was he gets a couple birdies. Look at all those chips he's got. And when he gets birdies, he pushes these 4 guys got pushed out of contention. And didn't take long for these 2 guys with a couple of birdies from him to push everybody out of contention. That's kind of what happened. And so that's basically what happened on that. So just so you know there. And, of course, that's a picture we took of Tabby the other day, sitting on her little orthopedics couch for cats with the little stuffed toys right by the back door, enjoying herself. That was from yesterday. Not today, but from yesterday. But she is doing well. So she's already told me that I have to make a special deal on her birthday, which is November the 16th. So I'm sure there'll be a special stream on that day. She'll be 12 years old on November 16th, so we got to do something special for her, I guess. All right, back to Strat-O-Matic. Bruce Hurst will be out, and he'll be facing Schroeder, Gantner, and Swain, the bottom of the order. 1-2, and that's going to be a ballpark single check. It's 1-15, and that's a base hit for Schroeder. You go to the ballpark chart at Fenway Park, and you're a batter, you're probably in for a good result. So Schroeder gets the leadoff single. And of course, Brewers will be running station to station constantly. They're not going to try for any extra bases down 9-1. So here's Gantner. It's a 3-3 against the lefty. Struck him, boy, almost at a Lomax there, but he struck out instead. And for Hurst, that's his 5th strikeout. And that'll send up Dale Swain. 3-4, and that's a home run, 1-15, but that's a 20, so he settles with a double. And by default, Schroeder will stop at third, station to station only. So second and third, one out for Mike Felder. Of course, the infield is back for Boston. They need outs. They'll give up the run to get an out. Get a 4-6 against the switch hitter batting right-handed. Struck him out. Bruce Hurst with his 6th strikeout. He is just pitching himself a whale of a game. And here's Juan Castillo, still technically a clutch situation. And in the clutch, he loses hits on 112 and 310. He gets a 2-4, though, and that's a ground ball to short, and that will end it. So second and third, only one out, and they can't score. Just the kind of game, I guess, it's been for Milwaukee. Sometimes you have days like this, even if you are a first-place team. All right, here is Jay Aldridge back out, and he's just trying to eat as many innings as he can. I'm going to go until the Strat computer tells me he's tired, or if he gives up like 5 runs or something. So here's Spike Owen, 2-6. That's a ground ball to third. One away. And that'll send up Mark Sullivan. He is 2 for 2, a single and a double. He's upped his average from 170 to 188 in just 2 at-bats. 3-8 against the righty. This time he will strike out. So for Aldridge, that is his first strikeout. And here comes Ellis Burks. 3-3 for Burks. That's a ballpark single check, 1-15. You better believe it. Base hit, Ellis Burks. Again, not running, not being held. Here's Marty Barrett because of the score. 6-10, and that is a fly ball center field X. We're looking at Yount. 2-6 for Yount. 2-7 should get to that, I would think. 2-7 is an F2, good enough. That's a 9, and he is an E6 in center field. There is no 9 there, so Yount makes the play to end the inning. And we played 5 innings at Fenway Park. Red Sox firmly in control, 9-1. And Mr. Hurst not used to this kind of run support, but he's certainly enjoying it. He'll be out to face Yount, Cooper, and Deere. Yount, Cooper, and Deere. I'm not sure what I'm doing on the 16th, Chuck. We'll figure something out. Maybe the Tigers' greatest hits, or maybe we'll do a 1984 Tiger. Maybe we'll do an 84 Tiger Padre World Series Game 1 or something, or Game 5. What was it, the one? Was it Game 5 that Gibson hit the home run off of Gossage? Maybe we'll do a Game 5 replay or something. I don't know. As a one-off. Here's Yount. 1-6 against the lefty. 1 to 5 is a triple. That's a single for Robin Yount. Single for Yount. Comes Cecil Cooper. But I learned a lot playing those couple rounds of the Hitchmaker Golf. But that was a unique tournament where it was the Century, so there was no cut. They only had 59 guys that were invited, and so there was no cut. So now the next tournament, next week, which will be the Farmers Insurance, actually be this weekend, the Farmers Insurance at Torrey Pines in San Diego, we will go through the cut process in rounds 1 and 2. And so also, it'll help me with round 3 to make sure I look at those little cards and see if anybody has a different rating on their third round. It's a 2-5 for Cooper, and that's a ground ball to third. Fielder's choice. 5 to 4. So it was good practice, if nothing else. I did learn some things. I learned, obviously, through all the flipping the charts, I'm kind of getting a feel for what order they're in, whether it be rough, sand, trees, whatever. I kind of got the order down on that, and I'm learning some of those little symbols and where to find the results for those symbols. And I'm watching more videos. I'm watching more videos as I go, just to keep fresh in my mind as much as I can. But I do really love the game. I really like the game, and I'm a big season guy, which is why I do season replays rather than one-offs. I'm a big season guy. So I'm thinking about, I've already got it set up in Excel. I'm thinking about doing a 15-event tour for the 25 season. I will have to get about 6 more courses from Play.com. So I have the courses I need, like Pebble Beach and some of the other ones, and the ones for the U.S. Open and British Open and things like that. But the next tournament on the schedule that I'm going to play, I'm going to skip the second Hawaii tournament. And I think the next one after that, or shortly after that, is the one in Torrey Pines, which I have because I bought that course set number 3, and that came with that. So we'll be doing probably this weekend, we'll be doing the Farmers Insurance Open from San Diego. And what I'm going to do to figure out, I'm not going to use all 200 and some golfers and go through a cut. I'm assuming the information's out there. I'm going to go to the website, find out which golfers were there to begin with, who missed the cut, but who was there completely. So I want to make sure anybody that was there has a chance to make the cut, whether they made it in real order or not. But if a guy never showed up for the tournament, I don't want to put him in there. I'm going to try to stick to the schedule as best I can. All right, here is Rob Deere. 6-5, and that's a double to center field for Deere. And again, station to station. Cooper doesn't run well anyway. It's going to stop at third. 1 down for Jim Paciorek. The other thing, too, that matters, I got to figure out where I want to put the dice trade and how I want to show things. And so it was a trial run in many, many instances. So hopefully the more I do it, the better presentation we get also. All right, so Paciorek, infield back, 5-7. Ground ball second base X. Barrett, a 2E11 with the infield back. 2 and an 18. That should produce a ground out. I would think that would score the run. Let's see here. 2 and an 18 is a G1, and that's a 6. He's an E11. There is no 6 there. So if we go over here to G1, runners at second and third, infield normal, runners advance. So both runners will advance on the ground out, both runners will advance. So Cooper scores and Deere goes to third on the 4-3 ground out. So it's an RBI ground out for Paciorek. And that gets the Brewers to within 9-2. But now there are 2 outs. Deere at third, so technically a clutch situation for Schroeder. And we'll see what Schroeder does against Mr. Hurst. 2-8, and that is it would have been a single, but technically by rule we are in a clutch situation despite the score. So by rule, and I'll show it right here close up and personal, by rule, that 2-8 against left-handers is the omega symbol, which means he loses the hit. Like I said, I may end up finding a score threshold to override clutches and say that they're no longer a clutch situation, but by rule, it's a clutch situation. So we're going to call that a pop-up to short, and that will end the inning. I don't know if anybody's ever homebrewed a clutch thing based on the score or not, but if anybody has and they have a suggestion, would be a good number to use. You know, down 6, down 7. What's the threshold is the question that would have to be brought up, and maybe it's by inning as well. Like you're down by, if maybe use it like the strategy roll and inside pitch, where if the difference in runs between the two teams exceeds the innings left, maybe that's the formula to use there. I don't know. I'm open to suggestions, but right now I'm just going to play it as is. Here's Boggs, 6-7 against the lefty. Ground ball, shortstop X. We're looking at Swain, 3E12, or 3E25 actually. 3-11, he'll get to it, but the E25 and the 13 might be questionable. And it is right there. E25 and a 13 is a one base error on Dale Swain. So E6, and Boggs is aboard. That is the first error of the game for either team. Brings up Jim Rice. And of course, no holding runners, no stealing, no nothing. 3-9 for Rice against the righty is a walk. So not what Aldridge wanted by any means. And he may be getting near his last leg as well. This is his 4th inning. He's gone 3 innings so far. So he's got to be on the borderline of fatigue very shortly. Here's Baylor. He could really use a strikeout or a Giovanni's double play right about now. 1-7, and he gets a strikeout. So that was one of the things he could have used, and he got it. 1 away. Now he can use the Giovanni's Taylor Shop double play to get out of the inning against Dewey Evans. Got to keep the score from getting any more out of hand. Whoop. I got stuck in there. Let's redo that. 3-2, and that is a ballpark single check. 1-17, though. He needed a 15 or less. So we'll keep the ground ball to third, and that will end the inning. So Aldridge has done well. He's gone 4 innings. We might cap him at the 4 innings. I don't know. I'd be tempted to try a 5th inning, though. As long as he has not reached official Strat-O-Matic fatigue level, we may bring him back. Speaking of fatigue, though, this is the 7th inning. That's the fatigue for Bruce Hurst, so we'll keep an eye on his fatigue rating. He'll be facing Gantner, Swain, and Felder. 1-7 for Gantner against the lefty, and that's a 1-16 double, but he gets a single instead. Leadoff single. I think I didn't put the strikeout for Evans, so let me do that real quick. No, I skipped his strikeout, so let's put his strikeout here, and then we get the ground ball to third to end the inning on Benzinger. And then we get the single for Gantner. All right, that takes us to Dale Swain. .37 for Swain, struck him out. That is strikeout number 7 for Bruce Hurst. This is easily his best start of the year. No question about it. Here is Felder. He's 1 for 3. 5-9, and that's another strikeout. 8 strikeouts for Hurst. So maybe the run support he got early on allows him to pitch more freely and less under pressure, and maybe that's what he's thriving on. Here's Castillo. He's 0 for 3. 6-11, switch hitter. Ground ball pitcher X. We're looking at Hurst. He's an E18. He's a 3 with an E18. 3 and a 13 is good. E18 and a 9. So we'll We'll check the pitcher chart. E18 and a 9 for a pitcher. E18, there is no 9. It's 11, 12, 14, but no 9. So Hurst will make the play. And he's got endurance to go into the 8th inning for sure. No question about it. We go to the 7th inning stretch. Don't know if I should take a stretch break to heat my coffee or not. Thinking about it, but I'm also thinking I'm going to get this game over with. But one thing I usually do in the 7th inning stretch is talk about the next game on the schedule. And that's going to be tomorrow. We'll be at Memorial Stadium in Baltimore for the Yankees and the Orioles. Ron Guidry against Dave Schmidt. And it's the return of Don Mattingly. He comes off the disabled list. He will be in the starting lineup tomorrow for the Yankees as they take on the Baltimore Orioles. It'll be game number 484 of the replay, but that's tomorrow. Right now, we've got a couple innings left to finish up, and I really want to go ahead and finish it up. The coffee is definitely fatigued, Dan. It's definitely, I could call it dot. History Maker Baseball has that dot cola park. This could be dot coffee park because the coffee is definitely tired. It's definitely lukewarm. I'm not even going to sip it. I'm going to set it to the side, and I'll go down and nuke it after the game's over. So I just want to get the game going to get it out of the way. And we're going to keep Aldridge in there. He's not fatigued yet, so we're going to have him pitch a 5th inning, or at least start a 5th inning. 5-4, switch hitter, batting left. 5-4 is a fly ball center field X. We are looking at Yount, 2E6. 2 and 16 is good. E6 and a 10, probably not any problem. I'm sorry, 11. E6 and an 11. Nope, 4, 3, 15, and 18 are the errors, so 11's no issue. And Benziger will fly to center. One away for Spike Owen. 3-3 for Owen. That's a straight-out triple. You don't see that very often on the Strat cards. But some guys who hit a lot of triples get their own triple. It's not a split anymore. It's a straight-out triple on the 3-3. And Spike Owen had 7 triples in 437 at-bats. So they decided to give him a straight-out triple on his 3-3, and he found it. So a straight-out triple for Spike Owen. Like I said, it's not the most prevalent number you're going to see on the Strat cards, but he certainly got it. So Spike Owen with a triple. Oh, you know what? I only gave the Reds 2 outs last inning, apparently. Or did I not write it in there correctly? I'm thinking my computer stuff is off completely. Let me double check it here. I may have to play this thing. Out. Let me go back and see what happened here. All right, let's see here. I had Benziger grounding out. Baylor. I had Baylor and Evans both striking out and Benziger grounding out. I can't remember what I did and what I didn't do. Man, hell getting old. I'm going to do something I don't normally do, but I borrowed this from Mr. Guterman, and that is go back and look at it and see exactly what I did so I can recreate it if possible. So apologize for the quick little snippet here. Let me go back and look at the inning that was for the Red Sox. Come on, back over here. But I want to be right if possible. All right, so Evans, I only gave him 2 outs. That's what happened. They only got 2 outs. That's exactly what happened there. They only got 2 outs. So now the computer is telling me that Owen hit a leadoff triple. So I'm not sure how I want to handle that. Boy, how do you fix that? Any suggestions on that one, Dan? Or anybody else? how I fixed that, I don't know how I only gave him 2 outs instead of 3. That was kind of weird. I don't remember if that was. I don't think that was a double play ground ball either. I think it was a regular ground out. Don't remember off the top of my head. No, I actually put in a strikeout for Evans instead of a ground out. I think I put in the strikeout twice or something is what happened there. Computer shows it correctly. My score sheet does not. But the computer had Benziger grounding out to third and Evans striking out. And so let me go back and look at it again to make sure. Oh, I can hit undo all the way back and replay it. I guess I could do that. That would wipe out the whole top of the 7th, though. I may do that though. Let me go back and take a quick look here and see what I did officially with the dice, because that's what's more important, not the computer. The dice are what's important. So let me see what's going on here. All right, we had the error on Swain, and we had a walk. And now I'm going to watch the replay real quick. Sorry, a couple seconds of delay here. I know Baylor struck out. Pretty sure he struck out because I wanted the double play for Aldridge, and he got a strikeout instead. Rolled a 1-7 on Baylor, and he struck out. So let's go back and bring Baylor, or now it actually would be Evans at the plate. So Evans is at the plate, and I'll show this. I don't know how well it'll show up on the screen, but I'll try to do it where you can see this on the phone. I don't know how well that's going to show, but anyway, this is what happened previously. All right, so the roll for Evans was a 3-2, and that was a ballpark single check, but he was out, so he ended up, I kept the ground out I can't keep the ground out to third base because that would have been a double play. So it has to be a line out to third. So that's what I'll do. I'll pick it up from there, and I'll do a bunch of undos on the computer after the game is over. I'm not going to do that now and hold everybody up. I'll do that after the fact. But it has to be a line out to short. I can't do the ground out to third like I would normally. I was thinking there was a third out of the inning, so it wouldn't matter anyway, but that ground ball A would have caused a double play. So let's go back and fix this. So Evans ends up lining to third on the failed ballpark single check, and that's where it is. That's where we messed up. Is that I ended the inning after that, and it should have been Benziger is at bat with 2 outs and runners at first and second. So I will fix that going forward, and I'll mess with the computer later. Now, Joe, I want to try to be right as I can. I don't want to hurt, even though the game might be out of hand. I don't want to, I want to keep the stats as pure as I can. So I'll put it back in the computer later. I'm not going to undo all that stuff now. I'll do it after the fact, which just means I got to do the totals by hand, which is no big deal. So Benziger is up with 2 outs in the bases, runner at first and second. It is a clutch situation. 2-9 for Benziger, and he flies to center to end the inning, which is exactly what he did here, ironically. So that played out fine. Now we go to the top of the 7th. Right now I got a 0 there, but of course if the Brewers score, I'll change it. We're going to start the top of the 7th with Bruce Hurst. And actually it's not Yount, it should be Gantner batting. Gantner's the leadoff batter. 5-5, and that's a walk. So Gantner will walk. Gantner walks, and here comes Dale Swain. (1-8) for Swain is another walk. So Bruce Hurst, remember this is his fatigue inning, so he's getting one more base runner, he'll be fatigued, and I'll have to go to the bullpen. So here's Felder. 2-6 for Felder. That's a ground ball shortstop A. It's a Giovanni's Taylor shot. Taylor made double play, 6-4-3. And now there's 2 away with the runner Gantner now at third base. And now if he gets Castillo, then we'll be right where we were to start the bottom of the 7th. So we'll see. See what Castillo does. By rule, it's still a clutch situation. 4-3, switch hitter batting right-handed. Ground ball first base X. We're looking at Evans. He's a 4.E25. 4-9. He's not holding anybody on, so he probably should get to this. 4-9. He will get to it. And that's an 8, and he's an E25 at first base. There's a 9 there, but no 8, so Evans will get to it, flip to Hurst covering, and he escapes. And we're right back where we should be. Like that old Motown song, we're right back where we started from. Don't know if that was Diana Ross and the Supremes or who that was that sung that song. I just remember the song. All right, so here's Spike Owen. Unfortunately for Spike Owen, we take away his triple, but that's okay. He shouldn't have been batting that way anyway. So here we go, Spike Owen against Aldridge, 2-8, and he pops it up to first. 1 away. This is the only way I know to do it. Go back into the original and pick it back up where it should have been to begin with. So here's Sullivan, 4-8, and that's a single. Sullivan 3 for 4. And the difference here, had I finished the game and not caught that, I would have left it alone. But since I caught it while the game's still going on and I can do something about it, I'll fix it. But if I discovered this after the game was over, nothing you do about it. All right, here is Ellis Burks. 3-7, and that is a ground ball shortstop B, so it's a fielder's choice. 6-4. And that'll bring up Marty Barrett. Aldridge's going to try to go 5 innings here. He'll need a couple days off as well. 5-7, and that is a ground ball second base X. Castillo, 3E21. 3-8. He's not holding anybody on, obviously. With the score being what it is, good thing, because that would have been a base hit had he been holding somebody on instead. But that's a 16, so that could be problems on its own. E21 and a 16. There is no error at 4, 13, and 17, so caught a break. And that will end the inning. That's going to do it for Aldridge. He's going to go 5 innings. And he really saved their bullpen. No question about it. Only giving up the 1 run. Very outstanding performance there by Aldridge. Let's see how many hits he gave up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Gave him for 7 hits and a run. Check his walks and strikeouts. The run was earned. Let's see here. Walks and strikeouts. He struck out 1. He walked 1, struck out 2. Walked 1, struck out 2. Yeoman work there for Jay Aldridge. In the meantime, Bruce Hurst coming back out. He'll be facing Yount, Cooper, and Deere. Actually, you know what? They're going to cap Hurst at 7 innings. They'll bring in a fresh arm. So they will bring on Wes Gardner. And they'll let Wes Gardner finish things out. Or at least that's the plan. He's a -5, but that's not important. Hurst, 7 innings pitched. And let's see what he's done. Given up just 2 runs. Hits allowed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 hits allowed. He walked, I think the only 2 walks were these 2 at the end. So he walked 2, and then we know he struck out 6. And of course, he will improve to 5 and 8 barring a catastrophe, and Higuera will drop to 6 and 5. But right now, Wes Gardner, 3 and 6 with a 5.42 ERA is Wes Gardner real world. Go back to the Strat computer and go to the bullpen for the Red Sox to see what kind of replay Wes Gardner's having. Oh, check that. Wes Gardner's not on the roster. My bad. Good thing I checked. He's not on the roster right now. I should have removed him. I forgot to remove him. Bullpen arms available. Sambito and Giraldi are the two bullpen arms. So it looks like we're going to go to Sambito out of the bullpen. We will go to Sambito. Could always do Sambito for 1 inning and Giraldi for 1 inning if need be. But Sambito will get the call. Sambito will be coming in to face Yount, Cooper, and Deer. So Sambito, real season for Sambito, he was 2-6 with a 6.35. I'm sorry, 2-6 with a 6.93 ERA and no saves. On the replay, he is 0-2 with a 5.40 ERA, but he does have 2 saves. Maxine Nightingale, thank you. Okay. For some reason I was thinking it was Diana Ross and the Supremes. I don't know. I knew it was a Motown song. I just didn't know the group. All right, here's Marty Barrett. I'm not Marty Barrett. What am I doing? Robin Yount. Just getting all out of whack here on a game like this. Here's Yount. 3-7. It struck him out. Sambito gets the K. Here's Cecil Cooper. I'm going to pull Cecil Cooper. We're going to have a pinch hitter. We'll probably let one of the lesser guys hit that doesn't get a chance to play very often. Well, no, we're not, because they're all left-handed. I'm going to use Paul Molitor, get him in at bat. As a pinch hitter, he'll stay in the game as a DH. So Molitor pinch hits here in the 8th. And for Molitor, let's get the numbers on Molitor. Real season, he hit 363, 16 homers, 75 driven in. On the replays, hitting 373, 8 homers, 43 driven in. 6-8 against Sambito is a ground ball second base X. We're looking at Barrett 2E11. 2-10, he'll get to that. E11 and a 12 at second base, and that's not a problem. So Molitor is out of there. And that'll bring up Rob Deer. (5-2). That's a ballpark single check, 1-15. That's a base hit for Deer. And how about that? Rob Deer is 4 for 4. 2 singles, a double, and a home run. So it's not, the Brewers aren't losing this game because it's his fault. He's certainly doing all he can do. Not many times you're going to see Rob Deer go 4 for 4. Here's Pashoric, 5-8. Ground ball shortstop X, Spike Owen, 3E17. 3-8. He's not holding anybody on, so he'll get to that. That's an 11, and he's an E17 at short. There is no 11, so good play. For simplicity's sake, he throws it to first. And Sambito gets through the 8th inning, no problem. They'll let him finish out, most likely. Or if Giraldi needs the work, we might bring Giraldi in. All right, bottom of the 8th, it's a 9-2 ball game. We may be looking at a position player coming in to pitch for the Brewers, unless somebody really needs the work. And I don't know of anybody that really needs the work. They're all kind of overtaxed. Actually, the guy who needs the work, oddly enough, is Dan Plesac. So we're going to bring Plesac in. He has been struggling for a lot of the season, so they're going to give him an inning of work here to see if he can right the ship. Dan Plesac. And he'll be facing Boggs, Rice, and Baylor. So Plesac, 5-6 with a 2.61 ERA real world. And he also garnered, where is he here? Where'd he go? There he is. He also garnered 23 saves. On the replays, 5-2, but his ERA is 3.90 with 15 saves. So he has not been pitching as well as they would like him to be pitching. So they're going to give him a chance in a mop-up role to try to maybe get himself right. Facing Boggs, 6-4, and that's a fly ball center field X. We're checking Rob Deere. I'm not checking Rob Deere. We're checking Yount, rather. 2 and a 16 is good. E6 and an 11 I don't think is a problem. It is not. So good play there for Yount. Takes care of Boggs. Here's Jim Rice. 1-8 for Rice, and that's a ground ball to short. So Plesac trying to get a smooth one-inning performance, get himself back on track going forward. Here's Baylor, 3-6, ground ball to short. So 1-2-3 inning for Plesac, and he gives up nothing, but he gets an inning of work in and maybe gets himself right going forward. Now let's see about the Red Sox. Do they want to bring in Schiraldi for an inning of work to get him some extra work? He definitely needs it, so they'll bring in Schiraldi to pitch the 9th. Sambito is going to go 1 inning, give up a hit, nothing else with a strikeout, and they'll bring in Schiraldi just because he needs some work. So we'll bring in Schiraldi out of the bullpen, get his numbers. Schiraldi on the replay is 4-5 with a 5.51 ERA and 7 saves. Real world 8-6. I'm sorry, real world 8-5, 4.41 and 6 saves. So his ERA is 1 run higher than real world. So he could definitely use a tune-up game here just to get himself right. It'll be Schroeder, Gantner, and Swain due up for the Brewers in the 9th here against Mr. Schiraldi. Not even worry about his hold rating because it's irrelevant. 5-7, and that is a ground ball shortstop X. We're looking at Spike Owen, 3E17. Let me do this real quick. I think I'm losing some peripherals here, so let's back this up. So we are looking at the ground ball shortstop X. Where did that go? What did I roll here? I'm trying to remember what I rolled here. So no, I was looking at Spike Owen. So now I'm trying to remember what I rolled. It has to be on here. I don't see a ground ball shortstop X, but I could have swore that's what was rolled. I'm just all out of whack today for whatever reason. I don't know why. I could have swore. Unless it was a second base X. Oh, here's right here. I think it was a. Did I roll a 6-6? I don't even remember what I rolled now. Now I got to go back and I'm going to use Jeffrey Guterman's little, instant replay thing again to figure out what the heck I rolled. So let's see what I rolled here. Let me see what the roll was for Schroeder. It was a 5-7. That's what I rolled. So that's the shortstop X. Okay, there we go. There's a shortstop. I knew I wasn't going crazy. 5-7 was the ground ball shortstop X. Okay. That's what I rolled. So shortstop X, Spike Owen, 3E17. 3 and a 7 should be okay. 3 and a 7 is a G3, and that's an 11. He's an E17, and there's no 11 there, so it's a good play for Spike Owen. Schroeder is out of there, 1 away. Now we're going to bring up Jimmy Gantner. Jimmy Gantner. Yeah, it kind of happened that way, World's Worst. It can happen. Once I get, now a spam call's coming in, but once I get thrown off course here on this mistake I made, it kind of, sometimes it snowballs and it just throws me off whack. So here's Gantner, but I think I've got everything accurate the way it should be now. 2-6 pop up to short. It's not the cleanest game in the world by any means. The fact it's a blowout probably doesn't help either, because in the back of my mind, I just want to get the game over with. Here's Swain, 6'5", switch hitter batting left, is a strikeout, and Giraldi, a 1-2-3 ninth inning, wraps this thing up. Probably none too soon. Red Sox win it 9-2 over the Brewers. 2 runs and 8 hits for the Brew Crew, as well as an error on Swain, but it didn't cause any unearned runs, so it didn't really cause any problems. Let's see here for the Red Sox. They get 9 runs on 13 hits and no errors. Winning pitcher is Hurst. He's now 5-8. Loser is Higuera. He is 6-4. And Red Sox end up taking 2 out of 3 from the Brewers, and that certainly helps the division. The rest of the division, particularly Yankees and Toronto, they're definitely appreciating that result. So now, and I don't know who you get. I don't know if you give the player of the game to Hurst or you give it to somebody else. I imagine you give it to Hurst. He kind of shut the powerful Brewer lineup down. So meanwhile, while the Red Sox were doing all this, Hurst was taking care of business. So, or Sullivan also 3 for 4 down here, but I'm kind of giving it to Hurst. So we look ahead to tomorrow. Yankees and Orioles. It'll be the return of Don Mattingly. He is back, ready to go. And that'll be the game tomorrow from Memorial Stadium in Baltimore. This afternoon, or this early, maybe late, probably early afternoon, I guess, I'm going to record what happened in the final round of the History Maker Golf game and show how you do the final scores for everybody out of contention. There's a process for that, so I'll show how that's done and preview the upcoming tournament this weekend in San Diego at Torrey Pines, the Farmers Insurance Open. I'll pull all the golfers and get that ready to go. So on Thursday, I can do the cut. Thursday I'll do the first 3 rounds. The first 2 rounds being the morning session, the afternoon session for cuts, and then the 3rd round for placement. Do that on Thursday, and then I can come back on Sunday. Because I will be home Sunday. I won't be going away on Sunday like I usually do. I'll be home all day Sunday. So I'll probably do the tournament. I'll start with the back 9 for the leaders on Sunday. So that's my plan anyway. So that's going to do it from here. Again, tomorrow, hopefully this game tomorrow will be closer and will be played more smoothly. I think I threw myself off when I picked up the wrong dice to begin with. I think that kind of in the back of my mind maybe just threw me off, kind of got me off course where I needed to be. So I will go back in and fix this on the computer and get everything logged in correctly before tomorrow's game, and we'll get everything all straightened out. But it'll be Ron Guidry against Dave Schmidt, and more importantly, it will be the return of Don Mattingly. So that will do it from here. Hope you all have a great Monday, the rest of your Monday, whatever you have planned for it. Yeah, I mean, I hate to give the player of the game. There's 2 guys for the Brewers that definitely could have earned it, Aldrich and Deere, but they're on the losing side. So I don't know. I kind of want to give it to the guy who's pitched so poorly all year long, and then pitches a really nice game for a change. So I kind of give it to Bruce Hurst. But yeah, you want to give Centum. If you were doing hockey 3 stars, you'd give Hurst 1 star. Probably give Deere another star, 2nd star, and give Aldrich a 3rd star. So, but anyway, that's what we have. I'm going to go heat up my coffee and try to regroup and get my stuff ready for the History Maker Golf conclusion. The other thing I did over the weekend is I printed off the courses on off the Play Frequently Asked Questions Facebook site. And that way I know, because they can't use the course names because of copyrights or whatever. So with that being the case, I can look up the courses I need and know exactly what the real course name is in correspondence to what Play calls it. So the tournament coming up, they call it the Pacific Pines South, but it's really Torrey Pines South. So that's the one I need. But the other things I need, like Desert Sky, I'm going to need to get that to do the waste management tournament in Scottsdale, Arizona Need that one. I'm going to need the one for Pebble Beach, which is somewhere on here. I don't know where it is exactly. Somewhere on here. I'm not worried about Spyglass Hill. I'm just worried about Pebble Beach, but it's on here somewhere. One of these courses. And of course, we got the Players Club, which is really the TPC Sawgrass with the famous 17th hole. Going to need that course. I believe the U.S. Open was played at Oakmont, so I'm going to need what they call Founds Country Club in Oakmont, Pennsylvania. So I need that course. We're looking also. I'll go to the second page here. I'm going to need, if I want to do Riviera, I'm going to need Sunset Canyon to play the Riviera tournament. Avion Wood is going to be needed to play Quail Hollow in Charlotte. Let's see here. Peachtree is where they have the PGA Championship at the end, and then wherever they play the British Open, I got to find out where they played that. If I want to do Arnold Palmer's tournament, I need Ocean Knoll Club and Lodge because that's the Bay Hill. If I want to do Jack's tournament, Spirit of Scotland is the Muirfield Village. So it gives me, now I know exactly if I want to buy the individual courses, I know what courses I'm actually going to need. So anyway, enough of that. Most people here are probably watching for Strat, not for History Maker Golf, but since I'm playing that, and also I'm thinking about changing the channel name, so I got to figure out what I want to do with that. If I'm going to branch into things other than baseball, then probably want to change the channel name to be something else. So I'm contemplating doing that. I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet. Something like Cards and Dice Hobbyist or something like that, something generic that doesn't have the word baseball in it, because if I'm going to do things other than baseball, because I may go back into auto racing too, since I have the red, white, and blue racing game, I might get back into that at some point as well. So not sure, but we'll figure it out. I'm not going to do anything with it right now. We'll keep it as is for now. But that's going to do it from here. Next time we play, I guarantee you I'll have 1 white die and 2 red die. Well, actually, for the Orioles, as the home team, I'll have 2 orange die to go with the white die and the black. So I'll get the 2 orange D6s out here for the next game and won't be screwing that all up. Keep demos in the name. I'm not doing them. When the name started, because I used to do demos of games to see if people liked them or not. That I wasn't planning on doing any kind of replays. I would just do a couple of videos on YouTube just to show a few demos, and I was going to back away. And it just kind of, 11 years later, here I am. But I don't know. Demos just seemed like it was a weird name to have, but I don't know. I might just leave it alone. Some things are better left alone, I guess. Maybe that's the lesson learned there. I don't know. It's become a nickname. I guess so. So maybe people know me that way, and I guess I better just leave it alone. I was just thinking maybe I ought to do something, but maybe sometimes the best move to make is not to make a move at all. So anyway, that's good from here. I'm going to go set up my golf stuff for this afternoon. What is John Sterling passed one of the greats? John Sterling passed away? I'm not sure what you're saying there. Oh, okay. All right. Well, like I said, it's primarily what I do, but if I'm going to branch out to other sports, I guess I can do that and still keep the name. So I'll just keep the name. I ain't going to mess with it. I'll just keep the name. Oh, I did not know John Sterling passed away. Was that recent? Was that like today, over the weekend? Because I don't remember hearing that previously. I know a lot of people, a lot of people thought he was annoying or whatever, but I actually liked him and Susan Waldman. I thought they made a nice team. Oh, today. I'm sorry to hear that. I know him and Susan Waldman. I always really enjoyed listening to their radio broadcasts of the Yankee games. So that's unfortunate. But 87 years old, that's if I live to be 87, I'm not going to complain. I'm telling you right now. Most likely, if I make it past 72, I probably be doing very well based on my family history and stuff like that. So if I make it 10 more years, I'll be happy actually. So if I make it to 87, that would really be something. But I don't know. No matter the age, I guess it's still sad to see somebody go. But hopefully he lived a full life and happy life, and hopefully he passed away peacefully and wasn't fighting any kind of cancer or anything. But anyway, that's going to do it for here. Don't want to end on a really bad somber note like that. But anyway, Jay Aldridge he's going to miss two. He's going to have to sit out 2 games for sure after going 5 innings. Yeah, the Hall of something. I'm not sure what. All right, so that's going to do it from here. Tomorrow, Yankees and Orioles, roughly 9 o'clock Eastern. This afternoon, I'm going to record the golf tournament setup to finish out, show what happened in the 4th round of that tournament, the Century, and then show how to do the scores of the out of contending golfers and get a leaderboard set up so that I can week 1 points standing. I got to figure out how I'm going to do the points. I know I could do the FedEx Cup system, which might be a little more complicated. I think Play.com has a general thing like you get so many points for a win, so many points for a top 10, something like that. I got to read the rule book on that and figure out how I want to do the points. But I do want to keep points because I do want to do a season, the 2025 season. I know I'm late to the game because we're already into May, but hey, if I play a few games, might catch up and might not be too far off. So, but I'll look for that sometime tonight. I'll probably post it tonight sometime. Anyway, so that's going to do it from here. Until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and I will see you all down the road.